Hey guys, welcome to another Play3r.net review. This is part of the review for the Mydlink products. And basically we're just going to be kind of going through the app and showing you a couple of the features slash my opinions on it. I got to be quite careful because obviously I've been testing these products in my home and I don't want people knowing all the information about where I live and stuff. So I'm just going to jump you straight into the app. And what you get when you start it up. So, obviously there's quite a few screenshots. The first thing that really annoyed me about this app though was the lack of, you can see it doesn't have a G. Basically it doesn't go into landscape mode. So I'm going to do my best to kind of show you using this. Let's get that in focus for you guys. In portrait mode. So the cool thing about the D-Link app is you can obviously set places. So if you set up lots of product, you can set them up by rooms, and you can group all of these and enter a name. I don't know, kitchen. That will do. And let's pick an icon, maybe the kitchen, and then we can add devices to these particular rooms. So for the instance of the home, I'm just going to add all the devices to there, and we can just really easily navigate through rooms, which is quite nice because regardless of what you name the devices, you kind of know where they are. Now obviously we reviewed the motion sensor, we reviewed the smart plug, and we reviewed the HD camera, and they're all really cool products in themselves. So this is just kind of going through the app and what you can do with the app, just in case you don't want to read all the, or look at all the screenshots rather. Now setting up the product with the actual app was, I'd say it was okay. There was a bit of lag. I don't know whether this is due to the way the products communicate or the authentication process, but it was still okay. I mean, you added the product and it took a couple of seconds for the actual app to pick up the device. So again, I don't know specifically what causes this. It could be anything, but for the sake of the review, it was fine. I'd say that some people who are maybe setting up the products, just give it a second to kick in. Eventually they do work. Obviously there's another way to set up these products. You can set them up manually, but I didn't have any problems personally speaking. Obviously the Music Anywhere uses a different app. Doesn't use the this is one of my big niggles. It doesn't use the Mydlink Cloud Home app. And obviously this is the Android version. I'm just gonna hide my email address for a second. So on the left you can see we have add new device, schedule, and about. So the add new device is pretty simple. You can scan the QR code and it walks you through it, or you can skip that and just say what kind of product we're using, and it will set up from there. It will tell you everything you need to know, which is really good. Like, I had no complaints on how much information there was for people who might be less informed as to how to install the product. The next thing that's obviously, if I stop moving my camera about, worth mentioning is the schedule. Now the schedule is probably one of the most important things you can do on this app. I still have some slight complaints about it, but basically you have basic schedules, which is you know, a simple between this time and that time I want this to do this. So for instance, if you wanted to turn off your lounge during the day but turn it on for when you get home at 6:30, then this is the app for you, and it's the products for you. I mean, when you consider the price of the smart plugs, they're £30 each. It's quite an affordable product to put in your rooms. They seem to be robust enough to last a long time. Obviously they are quite weighty products. We also have advanced schedules, which is basically hourly. You can set using this. Let's get that in focus for you. Using this we can put in times. I did find how you remove them a bit odd. So you can't just click on these to remove them, which might be confusing for some. You actually have to click on them, and then you click this X over here, which is odd. So I don't really know what to say about that. I think it's a bit of a developer fluke there. Being a developer myself, I don't understand why they've done that. It's not a particularly hard thing to remedy. So you obviously have all these cool schedules. We've got. In fact, I will show you the actions. So actions are basically rules on top of your schedule. For instance, if I wanted to set a new rule where if the motion sensor is tripped, I want to turn off a plug, you can do that. Obviously I don't want to do that because my entire home office is running on this plug at the moment. But you can do that. It's a simple rule. For some reason I can't find the motion detector, which is a little bit odd. We also have stuff like turn off plugs if the power limit is reached. So for instance, if your kid, you don't want them using huge amounts of electricity on their gaming PC or their Xbox, that's something you can do. Obviously someone can just take out the plug, so it's not rocket science to avert the system, but these are all really cool products. Going back to kind of like the home, these are the devices. We can see the names, and for the smart plug you'll get an on-off switch, which I wouldn't recommend pressing if it's plugged into anything important. And you can see right now I'm using 200.77 watts. And this actually measures over the month. So apparently I've used 13 kilowatt, which is it's quite a lot of power, to be honest. Obviously I do have a full studio set up and 2 computers and an entire office. And again, you can set these all up on schedules via here. We can find a bit more information about them, for instance the IP address, the MAC address, all that kind of jazz. And for what the product delivers, it's very simple. We can view the obvious. I've kind of tilted this at my Card Against Humanity thing, so I didn't want to show you my entire room. But here is the camera app, and obviously these do work outside of the network. And we can take pictures. We can set it so that it defaults to the night vision mode. And this also does have sound. So all around a cool product. We can force it to HD when it's not in pretty sure when it's not in daylight mode, but it's being petty, unless it already is in HD. And we can see information like the bitrate. You might not be able to see on this, but we can see the format, the frame rate, the bitrate. I was quite impressed, to be honest. On my 162 meg line, I was able to get quite a nice connection outside of the network. So that was good. The FPS was slightly lower, but I'd expect that from a compressed bitrate after all. But viewing on the Wi-Fi, it's fine. Great picture quality. It's like quite high FPS for what it is. Obviously it's never going to be 30 FPS DSLR quality, but it does work. So my opinion on the app so far is it's good. I did notice a few bugs that could have been fixed, but I don't think that I'm going to let down the product range. There was also some features that I would have loved to see integrated into the app. For instance, a graph to show you power usage would have been really nice. When am I using all the power? Where the areas in my house, like group power consumption, and stuff like that. So the products still have quite a long way to go in terms of app development, and I don't know whether this app is supported or not anymore, but based on what I've seen so far and the price of the products, I'd have to say the app is fine. It's also worth noting that you can obviously go online to view your cameras if you don't have access to a tablet or an iOS device, etc. I did test this on my phone as well, and it worked just as flawlessly. Obviously, this is an Anson 7-inch tablet from Anson. So this is the Cortex A7 processor-based tablet, and you know it flies through most of the tasks. So it's not a demanding app. Personally, if I was maybe setting up a home surveillance set and all this stuff, I'd just buy a tablet to dedicate to it as like a big remote control. But you know, what can I say other than it's a good app? It just needs a lot. It's like a lot of fine details adding to it. It's not the bigger picture; it's the small details. But again, for the price of the products, you really can't flaw it. I think that I did read quite a lot of negative reviews on the the Play Store regarding crashes and stuff, and I do have to say that I did experience one or two. Specifically, when you alt tab out the product, it likes to not start again. Although for some reason on my Anson it has. I did have a few problems on my phone, so I don't know whether this is vendor specific or different versions of Android. But for the sake of such a cheap kind of line of products, I mean, for £150 at the moment, I think it is, you can buy the motion detector, the smart plug, and the HD cam. It's at the end of the day an app that's balanced towards that kind of price range. If this was £300-400 worth of products and the app was crashing all the time, then I might be a bit harsher. But as a developer, I can see what they've done, and it's good. I kind of like the see if we can get it to come open. Here you go. So we can even do motion detection on the camera, which does push notifications, and they've done like active area, so you can select the area that you want to trigger the device. So you know, some effort has been put into little details.